A ship on its way to the North Pole is stuck on thick ice. The men are trying to break it. The captain is told that the workers are tired, but he insists that they will reach their destination no matter what. Later in the evening, they notice a fire from far ahead and instantly run to check. They find blood and a burning tent. A little further is a man lying injured. They attend to him and see one of his legs is prosthetic. Soon enough, they hear a growling from ahead. They instantly rush back to the ship with the man. He is taken in, and a huge monster-like creature is seen heading towards them. They prepare their guns and shoot. The monster falls but rises again and continues walking. More shots are fired, but nothing happens. He gets closer and brutally finishes off anyone who comes before him. Eventually, he rises to the deck and orders them to bring the injured man to him. Further attacks are made, but once again, he finishes them off swiftly. Someone gets in a room and brings out a machine gun. They fire, and the monster falls off the ship, but he is still not dead. His strength is so much that he lifts the ship. However, another gunshot causes the ice to crack. They watch with eagerness as the monster falls into the water. Later, the captain attends to the wounded man. His name is Victor Frankenstein. He says that the monster will come back and make them promise they will give him away. The captain asks what sort of creature that is. Victor replies that it is someone he created. The next morning, Victor is better than before and tells the captain his story. He begins from his childhood, belonging to a rich family with a distant father, a prominent surgeon. He is fond of his mother, but the father does not care for them and is only eager to await the upcoming child. Victor prays to God for a better life as his parents often fight. His father, abusive in nature, gives him lessons with punishments. Then one day, while he is playing with his mother, she begins to bleed. She is instantly taken into care, but is unable to make it despite giving birth to a healthy boy who grows up to be very fond of their father, quite contrary to Victor. One morning, Victor confronts his father, saying that he hasn't done much to save his mother. He disagrees. No one can conquer death, he adds, and leaves. Before he exits, Victor tells him that one day he will be more successful than him. Victor says that since that day, he has had a vision to create something extraordinary. Meanwhile, the monster, still alive, rises from the ice. Back to the story, Victor's father dies, and his brother goes to one side of the family in a different city, and he goes to London. There, for decades, he has tried to expand the narrow limits of academia. He has grown up and, for the first time, presents his magical creation at his university. He explains life and death to the students, while a curious man appears and attends the lecture. He shows the creation. It is a half-human-like body, created from multiple corpse pieces. He powers it with a battery and animates it, shocking everybody. The professor is not quite fond of it and doesn't find it very amusing until it is seen to be taking orders. It catches an apple and then eventually releases it. The room is filled with excitement, but the professors say it is unholy. Only God can give life and take it. But Victor angrily curses them and switches off the creation. Later, on its way home, his curious listener stands before his office. He names himself Harlinda. He is here with a letter from his brother, William. Apparently, William is coming to see him with his fiancée, Elizabeth, who happens to be Harlinda's niece. He shows him the photo, adding that William is doing very well financially. Victor acts ignorant of it. Harlinda then expresses his admiration for his creation. He adds that he has moved to this city, and 3 days later, William will arrive. He says he will show him something that day, which will change his life. The day comes, and Victor goes to Harlinda's place with his research papers that he asked for. After checking it all out, they both sit, and it is revealed that Harlinda used to be an army surgeon. He brings him to his chamber and shows a demonstration of the human lymphatic system, established by a famous neurosurgeon. He locates a point, calling it a delicate location surrounding the heart. It can store and distribute energy. Victor also figures out that from one lymph node from the back, the energy can flow effortlessly. Realizing the potential, Harlinda immediately says he will give all the money it takes. Victor asks what he will take in return, but Harlinda says he may ask for that later. Just then, they are informed that William and Elizabeth have arrived. Victor goes to meet him, and Elizabeth is there. He is introduced to her as well. Later, at the lunch table, Victor loudly expresses his idea, which makes Elizabeth laugh. He gets slightly offended about it, and the other two leave to smoke. Elizabeth expresses that ideas that may seem worthwhile from the outside may do a lot of harm. She exemplifies the idea of war, which makes people think of a wondrous future, but ultimately, it causes a lot of destruction. This is what happens when ideas are taken by fools. He asks if she thinks he is the fool, but Elizabeth asks him to attend the smoke break with the men. He smiles and exits. Suddenly, the captain hears collisions outside. He quietly exits and hears that his men have seen the monster circling the ship. He doesn't trust it, but his assistant once again says that the men are terrified. He still doesn't listen and goes in. The monster is standing away, pointing at the ship. A few weeks later, Victor heads to a castle with the family. It's supposed to be his research center now. It needs a lot of renovation, but Victor has all the plans. There's a pit in between that opens from the sky to the ground. He wishes for a power storage to convert energy from the lightning. Harlinda agrees to everything. Later, they go on their mission to collect the pieces, starting from a death row. He finds someone got a strong back and selects him. After that, while he finds himself in the market, he sees Elizabeth and follows her. Seeing that she has entered the church and is looking forward to a confession booth, he rushes and takes the place of the father. Elizabeth enters and confesses. She says she has intended to sin, and it is related to her fiancé's brother. Victor, in his fake voice, curiously asks if it is lust, but she responds that it is hatred. She begins to say crude things about him, but apparently she knows it is him on the other side. They wave and walk out. They head to a ball and have a long chat. Then he offers to dance with him, and she hesitates but agrees. Victor tells how, since then, he began to grow more interested in life and lost interest in his project. He leaves his brother to handle most of the work in a lab and hangs around with Elizabeth. Days pass by, and Harlinda confronts Victor. He is aware of his ignorance and certainly doesn't like it. He says that the war is coming, and he needs a result within the next week, otherwise he will take away his support. After he leaves, Elizabeth comes to see him. He takes her into his lab, and she inquisitively checks out the half-prepared body. He confronts her and attempts to express his love for her, but she doesn't accept it. He then asks his reason for being there. She sits back, ponders the limited choices of an animal that is imprisoned. She says she has made her choice and decides to leave. Victor rushes after her, but she doesn't stop. Later one afternoon, Victor figures out the correct lymph node to put the electricity in, and in no time, the body animates, terrifying him. The war passes, and they reach the snowy field to collect more bodies. He tells Harlinda he is looking for a tall and wide specimen. He finds the bodies and begins to cut them up. Further, he carefully joins them with his structure, puts eyes over it, and throws away all the leftovers in the drain. Eventually, his monster is created, and now he must await the energy. A storm arrives, and he turns up the generator. He notices that Harlinda is there, but he is asking for his medicine hidden in his cane. He is surprised but gives it to him and finds out that he is affected by syphilis and is soon to die. Harlinda elaborates on his condition and then presents his need. He wishes that he could get reanimated inside the creature, but Victor rejects him instantly. He runs away from him and heads to the terrace. He climbs the pole and places his tower over it. As he climbs down, Harlinda continues his plea, but he keeps denying him, saying that his blood is polluted now. He cannot give his ill health to his new creation. He attempts to work on the generator, but Harlinda takes a pole and threatens to throw it off the pit. He tries to stop him, but in a scuffle he falls, but he hangs onto the wall. However, not for long, and he slips as well. Victor instantly runs down and finds Harlinda dead. He then sees the pole, which is crumpled, but he proceeds to use it anyway. He turns up all the generators, and then it starts to malfunction. The power rises, and a power is sent to the creature, but everything becomes quiet soon. He rushes to the creature and, finding it unresponsive, breaks down in anguish. He exhaustedly reaches his bed and falls down. In the morning, to his shock, he finds the monster standing before him. He is at first afraid, but sees that the monster is merely imitating him. He then shows him light, but he is afraid. He tries to make him feel the warmth and then unmasks him. He tells him his name, and he repeats the word. Victor gets amused and hears his heartbeat. Later, William receives a letter from Victor, asking him to come see him at the earliest. Victor takes the monster to the dungeon and introduces him to water. However, he only says the word Victor. He then chains him up there and is about to leave, but the monster panics. He assures him he will come and see that he is still only uttering the same word. The captain hears the story intently and says, no matter what comes, they will sail for the North Pole. Victor says that he shares the same madness as him, and his story isn't proving the point. The captain responds that he would like to hear it nonetheless. Victor continues taking care of his creature, but he doesn't respond quite as expected. He grabs a razor and cuts his hand. Victor somehow lets him go out of it. However, he notices that his wounds are being healed. He then rises, and Victor gets a little afraid. He locks him up again and aggressively tries to teach him new words, but he doesn't learn and gets scared of him. Meanwhile, William and Elizabeth have arrived. He lets them enter, and they wonder about Harlinda, but he lies that he is not there. While Victor takes William upstairs, Elizabeth hears a growl and stops to check it. She walks towards the dungeon and notices the monster. He sees her as well and rises. They both head towards each other in novelty. They both touch one another. He pulls her in, curiously checks out her face, and then her hands under the gloves. She also eagerly studies his body, and among his wounds comes blood. Victor is eager to show him his inventions, while William presents him with his wedding card. Just then, Elizabeth enters and queries about the monster. They all head downstairs, and Victor explains to them. He says that all his wounds are healing, and he is exquisite, but the creature is in anguish. Elizabeth asks the reason for him to be chained, and Victor says he doesn't trust him because his invention was not quite planned. Elizabeth reaches him, who is playing before the drain. He hands her the glove he took. William asks if it is intelligent as Victor jealously looks at the sprouting connection between them. That night, as they sleep, Elizabeth comes down to meet with the creature. He gives her a leaf, and she heartily accepts it. She tells him his name and asks if he can say it. He takes his hand on her throat to explain how it makes the sound. She then leaves, and the monster mumbles her name. As she goes out, Victor, waiting there, tells her that she shouldn't go so very near it. She tells him that it is not it, rather him. He says that it can only murmur one word, and it is never a faulty experiment. Elizabeth says he needs understanding, and she saw pain in his eyes. Victor then asks her about his pain, how she rejected him, but she responds that it is merely an illusion to him, for he has no heart. Victor enters the dungeon and asks the monster if his heart is so pure. He takes a pole and asks him to stand up. He ties him to a place and then beats him. He wants to see pain in him, and then, with more beating, he rises up. He takes the pole, breaks it, and screams at him. In terror, Victor runs away. The next morning, Victor meets with William and says that his experiment has failed. He takes him to Harlinda's body and says that the monster has done it. He says that the creature is very dangerous and he must take Elizabeth away as soon as possible. Elizabeth suspects something is wrong, but she has to leave anyway. After they leave, Victor begins to pour gas all over the castle to burn him alive. On their way, Elizabeth says that they must turn back the cart because there must be something wrong. He asks him to say one more word other than Victor, and he might change his mind, but he says Victor again. He proceeds with his work, and then he speaks the name of Elizabeth. Victor looks back in envy and eventually sets the castle on fire. Victor gets out, and the monster constantly screams his name. Victor has a change of heart, and then he runs to the house, but opening the door, the gust of fire throws him away, causing him to lose his leg. The castle is being destroyed, and the couple, having come back, witness that. The captain suddenly hears more collisions outside. This time, he is not worried and opens the door, only to find the monster grabbing him away. He is about to kill him, but Victor stops him, saying he is there. The captain rather asks him to finish him to prove his creator's point. He stops and says that Victor might have told his story, now it's his time. As the castle is being destroyed, the monster breaks down his ties and his chains. He then jumps into the drain that takes him out of the castle and drops him into a stream. He flows on and finds himself stranded far by the morning. He wakes up and finds himself in between a jungle. He is intrigued to find a deer, but soon someone shoots it. He looks back, and there are a couple of hunters who shoot him as well. He runs and hides. Hearing their prying voices, he flies, and before long, he finds a cottage. He takes shelter inside the barns. He falls asleep, and when he wakes up, he hears sounds outside. He peeks and sees those two hunters talking about him as they enter the house. He looks further in and sees an old man who is unable to see, but his words inspire him. They are full of wisdom, he says. He begins to follow his activities along with his daughter and his grandchildren. He wanted to be a part of their family, and one day he decided to align the haze. In the morning, they get excited seeing it and think that the spirit of the forest has done it. He continues doing stuff for them at night and receives return gifts as mostly clothes. Then one morning, a pack of wolves attacks their sheep. Noticing such animal violence for the first time, and adding to the fact that humans shoot down the sheep, he realizes the world is about survival. None of them is an enemy, but they are doing this to live. Later, the children of the old man say that they will leave him in the town till winter ends, and they will go hunt the wolves, but the old man doesn't listen, saying he will stay here for good. They all leave, and he remains alone. Then the creature decides that he will present himself to the old man. He enters his room, and the man wonders who it is. The monster replies that he is a traveler. He requests him to grab a seat for himself. He also asks him to get himself a brandy from the table, and while doing so, he breaks the glass. He is soon scared, but the old man comforts him. He holds his hand, asks who he is afraid of. Everyone, the monster replies. The old man soon realizes that he is the person who is secretly helping them. From his words, the monster begins to learn kindness, companionship, and empathy. He welcomes him to the house. The monster begins to learn to read. He takes him out for walks, and with countless stories, he searches for an identity. He still struggles to do so, and the man tells him of a time he once killed another innocent person. He has been dealing with the guilt ever since, but forgiveness and forgetting are the true wisdom of life. To look for answers, he must first begin to search for who hurt him. And in his case, it is Victor. He aims to skim for him and reaches the ruined castle. There, he comes across many documents, and after inspecting them all, he understands his origin. He then finds the wedding card of William, where their address is present. He heads back to the cottage and sees the wolves have attacked again. He runs in, and the animals charge at him as well. This time, he learns to fight back. He begins to tear them up one by one until they run away, and he rushes to the old man. He is happy that he came back. The monster responds that he has figured out who he is. He is made up of dead people, a helpless monster. The old man holds him and says that he is a good man and his friend. He eventually passes away. Just then, the hunters return and point their guns, thinking all of it is his doing. They shoot at him, and one of them rushes at him, but he is torn off. The rest too fall back in fear, and the monster walks out. However, the hunters get out and shoot at him. He falls injured. Although the wounds heal, he lies there in weakness. He wakes up again during the night. He wishes he were dead, and is angry at his creator for taking that piece away from him as well. Victor wakes up from a nightmare in William's house. He uses a prosthetic leg now. William says that he inquired a lot about the castle explosions, and most of them think it is an accident. During the night of the wedding, the monster had reached there. Victor goes to Elizabeth's room to congratulate her, but she responds that it is not his honest words, and as always, he remains pretentious. He leaves in frustration and reaches his room only to find the door is ajar. He closes it and then whispers, calling the monster out of the dark. Apparently, he comes out. He asks him to make a companion for him. Victor considers it madness and doesn't oblige. He expresses his anguish that he cannot die, and neither can he live. But Vicer's constant denials and belittling him make him lose it. He grabs him. The sound is heard from downstairs by Elizabeth. He throws him to the wall, and William hears it. Elizabeth rushes upstairs and finds him. They get closer, and Victor grabs a gun. He asks Elizabeth to move away, but she comes and blocks him, making him shoot her. The others run in, and Victor blames it on Monster. They dash at him, but he throws them away, making William hit his head. In anguish, he grabs Elizabeth and walks down amongst the guests. Victor reaches his brother and tries to save him, but he says he needs to be saved from him. Victor breaks down in tears, and he slowly passes away. In complete desperation, he grabs the gun with the purpose of finishing the monster. He has taken Elizabeth into a cave, where she passes away, confessing his adornment for him. Victor enters the cave and finds her body. The monster attacks him from behind. He breaks his nose, so that he also bears the pain of being a monster. Victor wishes to be killed, but he wants to make him suffer and leave. Victor runs behind him, but he leaves. Later, Victor reaches an ammunition shop and buys a bunch of ammo along with dynamites. He prepares himself a camp and sees the monster far ahead. He gets in and a fight breaks in. Victor has no match for his powers, and the monster himself asks him to blow up the dynamite. He fires it and asks him to run. Victor runs and it blows off, but the monster, as expectedly, is still alive. The shipmen then see the fire and rescue Victor. Victor confesses his pain, adding that it is never going to end for him. Victor holds his hand and finally says that he is sorry and asks for forgiveness, calling him his son. He is about to pass away and asks him to live, sharing a tinge of hope even in the face of misery. He is gone, and the monster eventually kisses him. He walks out, and the captain makes way. He gets down and pushes the ship into the water. The captain declares that they are going to head back home now, and everybody cheers. The ship moves on, and the monster continues walking towards the horizon. You were watching the recap of the 2025 movie Frankenstein. Stay subscribed to the channel, and if you have liked this video, until the next upload, you may enjoy this.